What's up and welcome to the channel. My name is Heckshot and thank you guys for joining us for this huge comparison between two of the most popular concealed carry options on the market, the M&P Sheild and the Glock 26. A lot of people are going to look at this review and say, dude, why are you comparing these two guns? They are apples and oranges. And in a lot of ways they are, but in more ways than not, they are the same. They are aimed at the same market, concealed carry, personal defense. So that's why we're going to get into it. And I know that there are a ton of people out there getting into concealed carry or carrying. Maybe they've been carrying for 20 years and they want something different, looking at these two guns and saying, which one do I choose? So that's what we're here for. We're going to go into everything, pros and cons, how they shoot, the features that make them different, and the features that kind of make them hard to choose between each other. And then at the end, like always, I'm going to tell you which one my personal favorite is for concealed carry and why. So let's go ahead and get into it. The M&P Sheild has been in so many of our videos. You guys are probably at this point tired of seeing it, but there is a reason that we continue to use this gun as a staple for concealed carry, and we will get into that as well. Of course, you still get a cardboard box, nothing fancy there, but what comes inside the box is what matters. Keep in mind that this one is a couple years old. They have made some changes to it. We'll talk about that here in a minute, but it's going to come with one 7-round magazine that has the flush base plate on the bottom, and then you're going to get the one extended 8-round magazine, all right, with the pinky extension there. Of course, it is a single stack gun. And then you get your paperwork and all that kind of stuff. Let's go ahead and move that one to the side. And then the Glock 26. This is the Gen 4 version. This gun has been out for a long time, though. You're going to get quite a few different things here. You're going to get 3 10-round magazines. They have all the same base plates on them, but they are 10 rounds. You can see it's a double stack. And then you're going to get back strap options. All right, what you will not get with the Sheild, you will get with the 26. You have a variety of back straps. You have some with the beaver tail, some without, and then you'll get a little plastic assist loader. So nothing special there, but you do get that paperwork and all that kind of stuff. But let's get the most important things out of this box, and let's move this to the side. All right, while I empty this magazine, we'll talk about some of the specs here and what makes these guns unique. Let's go ahead and show you how they actually look side by side though here really quick, so you can get an idea of what you'll be looking at. Width is going to be the biggest difference that you see with these guns. All right, and inside the waistband, this is what makes your pants kind of stick out or whatever. You can see the Sheild. Although it doesn't seem like it's a ton thinner, it is much thinner feeling inside the waistband. That is a big dimension right there you want to take note of. All the way around though, they are pretty much the same. You can see the Glock is just a little bit longer. I mean, really the barrel just kind of extends from the side there, and that's really the only extra length you really have on these guns. Let's go ahead and show you what they look like as far as height. Miss Heckshot will get down here and show you that really quick. You can actually see that the Sheild is taller with the flat base plate. Remember, the Sheild has 7 rounds, the 26 has 10 rounds. So right there, that makes the 26 a very viable option because of how short that grip length is, and you're getting 10 rounds, you know, plus 1 in the chamber. That is a huge, huge dimension as well. And that's kind of one of the things that makes this harder to judge. Let me put in the extended 10-round magazine just to show you how that looks. And you're going to even have a bigger difference in grip length. So just something to consider there. If I put the Sheild on the other side, you can see in and throughout the trigger guard, they're a little bit different. The 26 has a squared off trigger guard. The M&P Sheild is rounded off. But overall, the footprints on these guns, they are very, very similar, as you can see there. Let's go ahead and talk about some of the specs here, and then we'll go into the features. All right, the Glock 26, overall length is 6.4 inches. On the Sheild, it's 6.1. So you have 0.3 of an inch as far as length. Not a huge deal right there. Height on the 26 is 4.1 inches, and on the Sheild is 4.6 inches. We just showed you what that looks like. That is a big deal. Width 0.95 on the Sheild, so less than an inch thick, and then on the 26 is 1.18 inches. Again, that is a big dimension. Inside the waistband all day long, you will start to notice that. All right, barrel length on the 26 is 3.42 inches, and then on the Sheild is 3.1 inches, and we've seen that there. And then weight, as far as unloaded weight, on the 26, you're looking at 21.7 ounces, and then on the Sheild is 20.8 ounces. So you have almost an ounce difference there between the two. As far as what I've noticed between them, the weight you don't really notice a whole lot, but you do notice it a little bit, but it's not a big deal. What you do have is you have the Glock holding 3 more rounds with compared to the flat base plate Sheild. So, you know, 3 more rounds is 3 more rounds, and that's going to be a little bit more weight as well. So that's just something to keep in mind. They estimate the trigger to be at around 5.5 pounds on the 26 and around 6.5 on the Sheild. I'll show you those trigger weights, what we actually get here, in a little while. As far as features, on both guns, neither one of them have a spot for a rail. You can get trigger guard attachments if you want a laser or a light combo or whatever. You can go that route if that's something you want to do. Squared off trigger guard, high undercut in the frame. A lot of people like to give this an even higher undercut. I'm perfectly fine with what Glock does there. I think it gives you just enough to get your finger up there and really get a good purchase on this gun, which is important because although you have a benefit of a shorter grip there, being able to get your hand high up so you can hold on to it while you shoot, that little undercut makes a huge difference. Of course, you can get pinky extension magazines and all that kind of stuff, but we're just going off of stock configurations. You do have little finger grooves right here, so if that bothers you, you know, that's something you might want to keep in mind. You have the rough textured finish is what Glock calls it. Compared to the 43 and 42, this feels much better. On the 42 and 43, it's pretty slippery. They don't do a good job. On the 26 and the 19, they really do. You have your channels right here. So most guns will use an interchangeable backstrap where you remove one backstrap, put the other one on. On this one, I'll show you what this looks like here. You actually have a pin tool right there. So you push that little pin out, and now you can slide these up into this little channel, whichever way you want to do it, and it just snaps on the back. You put your pin back through, and there you go. So a cool little design the way they did that. Of course, that's new for the Gen 4. Oversized magazine button release. It is reversible too, by the way, and it is pretty responsive. One thing I've noticed with the polymer magazines, specifically Glocks, is as far as like coming out of the gun, they're not as responsive as, let's say, a metal magazine or other ones that I've used in the past. But it does, you know, perfectly fine. Takedown notches right here on either side. Slide stop is pretty small, but it is very flush to the frame, so it is out of the way. The only change I've made to this gun are the sights. I hate factory Glock sights. I hate them, I hate them, I hate them. Won't use them. These are the Trijicon HDs. I got them from Optics Planet. If you want to check those guys out down below, you guys actually receive a discount through them. So check that link out if you want to try these out and get them at a discount. But man, is that an awesome sight picture. I love these sights. And then to the other side, no slide stop over here. And everything is pretty much the same. Your extractor and all that. No loaded viewport or chamber indicator, but your extractor will stick out a little bit whenever you have a round in the chamber. All right, going over to the Sheild, rounded off trigger guard. It is still flattened up here, so if you do something like that, you should be able to keep your finger up there pretty well. But it's not serrated or anything. On the 26, it has this little divot right there, and it is serrated. So if that means something to you, if you're one of those people that like to hook your finger up there, nothing wrong with that. There's a better spot for you on the 26 for sure. Also on the 26, I didn't mention this, you do have this hump back here, which is a center for controversy for some people because you know, the grip angle on the Glock is definitely different than that of the Sheild and other guns. But we'll get into that a little bit later when we talk about the shooting. On the Sheild, takedown notch, slide stop, with or without a safety, that's going to be your call. Also on the Sheild, you have performance center options, a 45 option, performance center with night sights, performance center with the fiber optic sights. There's a lot of variations of this gun, but we're just talking about the regular Sheild for this video. Magazine button release, very responsive. These mags come out super easy. Split hinge design on the trigger. So basically whenever you pull the trigger, if you pull it from the top, nothing's going to happen. Pull it from the middle, and then you'll get your round to go off. Right here, no finger grooves. So compared to the Glock, you can see how that looks different. And even the grip angle on the guns, you can kind of tell that they are very different. The M&P Sheild uses the 18 degree grip angle, so it makes it feel, to me, more natural in the hand, and especially when you go to point and shoot, it seems like the sights line up much easier for me on this gun. On the 26, when I go to point and shoot, it seems like I'm high and I have to adjust and kind of level everything out. The grip texture on the Sheild is nothing to write home about. I hope in the future they will do the 45 Sheild redesign, because the 45 Sheild uses a much more aggressive grip texture and it feels better in the hand. Talon Grips, I'm sure they've sold a bunch of units for the Sheild because you really need that extra grippiness. You don't really need it, but it does definitely help for sure. You also have fish scale style serrations on the Sheild. They do a great job of biting into your hand. And then your sights, these are just the stock factory sights, 3-dot white sights there. You can get them with or without night sights. Also on the Glock, you can get them with or without night sights, so that's an option as well. Drift adjustable in the front. To the other side, the magazine button, from what I know, cannot be reversed on the Sheild. No slide stop on this side. You do have a loaded viewport up top, so you can see your brass down in the chamber. And other than that, that's pretty much all the features. On the 26, we didn't talk about the slide serrations on this one, but you can see straight up and down, and they do a decent enough job as far as pulling the slide back. On the 26, though, it is much easier to rack the slide and manipulate this gun. On the Sheild, the spring is very stiff. Now, on the 45 Sheild, it's a different story. But on the regular Sheild, it's a stiff little gun. So, you know, if you have weaker hands or anything like that, you want to keep that in mind. Pulling the slide back does take a little bit of an effort. As far as breaking them down, they're both super easy. They just come out a little bit different. The Sheild, lock the slide to the rear, rotate your lever down. You can pull the trigger like I always do, or you can pull down this little tab right in here, and then you don't have to pull the trigger at all. To me, I just pull the trigger. Dual captive recoil spring, stainless steel. This example has the melanite over stainless steel. They're now using armornite. I don't know that there's that much of a difference, but it's something that I wanted to point out. And then there's your 3.1 inch barrel. All right, on the 26, there's no gun that's really easier to break down than a Glock. Make sure it's clear, pull the trigger, cheat back on the side just a little bit, pull down on each one of these tabs on either side, then let it go forward. And then you have a dual captive recoil spring as well. This one is actually polymer though, so keep that in mind. The guide rod is polymer on this one. Take that apart. And then you have your 3.4 inch barrel there, and you can kind of see the difference right there. Now, one big thing that I did notice on the Glock, you can see how much thicker the barrel on the Sheild is. Something just to point out there. And it's also crowned, so it you know, as opposed to the 26 where it actually sticks out a little bit, on the Sheild it is crowned. So if you drop it, you know, on the end of the barrel there, I don't know if it would mess the Glock up, but it is something that you might want to keep in mind there. Internally, they look pretty much the same. You do have your stainless steel inserts, 4 points of contact there. And then on the Glock, Again, stainless steel, 4 points of contact. Pretty similar. A lot of the guns we do have this, you know, same type of design. Fire and pin block right there. And then on the Glock, fire and pin block up here. All right. All right, so let's go ahead and put these back together here really quick. Super easy to do. Start with the Sheild here. Now the Sheild spring sometimes can be a little bit of a pain. Right there wasn't too bad. And then we'll put the Glock back together. They're both very easy to maintain, and that is an attraction as well. If there's a gun out there anymore, I don't think there is, but if there's any guns out there that are hard to break down, actually I know there is. The gun from Walther that they put out that I really wasn't impressed with. What was the name of that gun? I forget what it was, but anyways, it was hard to break down, and that is a no-no in today's world because guns are supposed to be easy to break down. At least handguns are. So both of them are very easy to break down. Let's go ahead and show you a little bit of shooting. This is from one of our most recent trips. We didn't do a whole lot of it, but we've done a bunch of shooting with both of these guns. So let's go ahead and show you what we got, and then we'll talk about that, and we will do pros and cons, and I'll tell you which one I think is the best gun for concealed carry, and we'll also talk about how they carry after the shooting. Let's go ahead and get to it. All right, now we got the Sheild. Good. Well, good job, Jen. You just ended the day. Nice. All right. Good. All right, so we're just gonna take the target out a little bit further. This is kind of outside of the self-defense kind of spectrum, you know, for most people. But we just want to see what these little guns can do stretched out a little bit. All right, so let's, we got the target about 15 to 18 yards, somewhere in there. All right. Ready?
Yep.
It's hitting pretty high at first, but got them brought down a little bit. Let's try the same thing with the Sheild. Yeah, the Sheild actually did better stretching it out a little bit. So it really depends on you. Both guns can do it, but it really just depends on your skill set. So both guns can hit easily out to, you know, 16, 17, 18 yards, whatever that is right there. So not too bad. All right, so hopefully you guys enjoyed that. As you can see, for small guns, these guns actually do an amazing job when you're shooting them. Let's go ahead and start with the Sheild. The trigger on this gun has gotten much better. Let me go ahead and show you that here really quick. All right, let's go ahead and test the weight on the trigger here really quick, see where we're at with the Sheild. 6.8 ounces. I know it's always been in the 6s for the most part. 6 ounces. So 6.5 ounces, that's about right. Let me show you how it looks though. It's a little bit weird. The trigger kind of flattens out as you pull it, and then you have just a clean break. Now the triggers on the Shields and M&Ps in general have gotten much better over time. The reset here, not a fan of on this particular example. You hear that? That's your false reset. It doesn't actually reset there. There's the actual reset. And then you can pull again and it'll fire. That little false reset, I need to learn with this gun to just let it all the way out, because it just throws me off. I'm looking for that reset and it just throws me off sometimes, and you know, it's just one of those things with this gun. But with the Performance Center and the 45 Sheild, those triggers are much better. And as far as aftermarket parts on both of these guns, you can get anything you want as far as triggers and sights and whatever. So that's not a huge deal. The trigger in the newer ones, even the regular newer Shields, are much better though. So that is not something to deter you. But on this example, it is a little bit funky. But the gun still shoots great. We still shoot great with it, I feel. And we've gotten much better as far as, you know, not only, you know, hitting the target, but keeping, you know, tighter groups than what we have in the past. It's one of those guns where you definitely want to spend some time with it, though. It's not a gun that I feel a lot of people will just be able to pick up, you know, unless you're, you know, an amazing shooter. I know there's a lot of people that could just pick this up and do great with it, but depending on your skill level, any level really, you want to take your concealed carry handgun, take it to the range, and make sure you are great with it before you actually start carrying. And this one is no different. You definitely want to get accustomed to it, make sure that you can shoot well with it. On the 26, it's a little bit more predictable for me anyways. You have that little dingus in the trigger there. You get to a wall, and then it snaps. You have a little bit of creep there, but not much. And then a much more positive reset. I'm not somebody that likes to hang up on just the reset, but it does make follow-up shots, you know, a little bit better, at least for me. You hit that wall again, a little bit of creep in the trigger, but not too bad at all. Let's go ahead and test the weight on it here really quick. Trigger, it likes to slide on me like you've seen there. I hate testing a Glock trigger with this gauge. Try to get it. 5 pounds, 10 ounces. somewhere in that range, you know, anywhere from 5.5 to 6 pounds. That seems pretty accurate. So as far as shooting this gun though, it definitely is a great shooter. It seems to, especially once we change the sights, a sight picture with the trigger, and it handles the recoil like a much bigger gun. It really does. Now, some people may have a problem with only the 2-finger grip, which is all you can really expect for this and this configuration anyways. But one thing, tuck the pinky, wrap the hand, and it just seems to be very, very accurate in the hands. And that's one thing I like about the 26 is it shoots much bigger than it carries and feels, and I do like that. I like it a lot, actually. So as far as shooting the guns, they do great. What about concealed carry? This is Mrs. Heckshot's Sheild. All right, she carries in her holster. You guys know we love this company. They do great work. They make a comfortable holster and they keep everything nice and small. Carrying inside the waistband, Mrs. Heckshot has found with the Sheild, even though you have a smaller gun, some of the things that she wears causes this gun to print. And really it's because of the little bit of extra length in the grip. All right, so would a different gun, would a smaller gun probably suit her better for most of the things that she wears? Probably, but a lot of times she'll keep it in this configuration, keep it in a purse and handy, actually clip this inside of a purse and keep it handy to where if she ever had to pull this out, it's right there. And that's the way she likes to do it. And then with her spare magazine, she'll carry it just like this, and carry it and clip it as well. So she has her system down. That's the way she likes to do it. I've carried the Sheild a lot as well, the Performance Center anyways. Carrying the guns, I did like a 4-week trial with both of these guns. I'd carry one for a week, then the other for a week, and then I'd swap them back and forth. And I'm talking about the Performance Center, which is the same specs and everything. At the end of the day, you can tell the 26, it weighs you down a little bit more. I find myself kind of adjusting more, and that's just one of those things. But it seems I can wear almost anything with the 26, and because of the length of the grip, it doesn't seem to print at all. With the Sheild, not always the case. So it really just depends on what I'm wearing, what shirt I'm wearing. So with the Sheild, you're going to have a little bit longer length. It's really hard to even get all 3 fingers. I have smaller hands even, and it's really hard to get all 3 fingers on there anyways, but you do have a longer grip. For some people, that's going to help them. For some, they're not going to like that. Inside the waistband, that dimension right there in the grip does make a difference, so just keep that in mind. But as far as carrying, the Sheild is lighter, and you can tell it's lighter, especially when you go over to the 26, but the 26, because of that grip length, makes it one heck of a concealed carry gun. Plus you get 10 rounds. That's pretty impressive for sure. All right, so now one advantage that the Glock has is not only do you have the 10 round magazine capability, but you also have the 15 round capability of the 19, 17 round of the 17. Let's start with the 26 Pros. You're looking at a gun that is interchangeable to anybody. Anybody can, and what I mean by that is anybody can make this gun their Glock. You can change the sights, you can change the trigger, you can shave down the frame, you can do whatever you want to with this gun. You have that luxury, you have that freedom to do it, and it is a big bonus for a lot of people. As far as shootability, for a smaller, compact type of gun, this gun shoots great. The triggers and things, I think even from the factory, are pretty good. The little hump back here in the rear, I feel that, you know, although it does change the grip angle and the point of aim for me, I still think it does a very decent job. Oversized magazine button release, it's not as responsive as the Sheild, but it still does a fine job, you know, as far as getting those magazines out of there when you need to and getting a fresh one back in there. Interchangeability, we already talked about that. Being able to use different types of magazines, that is a huge plus for this gun. And its size to weight to capacity ratio, man, I don't think that anybody does it better than Glock. You have 10 rounds in a gun that is shorter in the grip than a 7-round single stack. To me, that is very impressive. You just have a ton of things that you can do with these guns. They're still around $500 to $550. Most of the time when I see them, they're around $550. It's a bad thing when you buy it, but it's a good thing if you go to resell it because they keep their resale value for sure. On the M&P Sheild, sub $400 easily. Sometimes I've seen these things on sale for $329, $339. This is an amazing option from Smith, and it has been since it's come out. With or without a safety. So, you know, on the Glock, it's without a safety. That's the only way they come. On the Sheild, you have that option if you like to use the safety. Mrs. Headshot doesn't even use it. She just opts not to use it, and it's very positive and small and out of the way, so you can feel comfortable doing that, I believe. Breakdown, everything is very, very simple with this gun. Again, being able to change the sights, the trigger, whatever you want to do with this gun, you can pretty much do it. And for a single stack gun, this is still one of the better shooters on the market. Considering how small and thin it is, this thing shoots great. Now, keep in mind, if you're going bullseye shooting, this is not, neither one of these guns are really guns that you want to take with you to the range. But just the fact that you can shoot so well with them should give you some confidence, especially concealed carrying, especially knowing that you can put rounds where they need to be if that situation were to ever arise. Build quality, lifetime warranty through Smith, and just the king of concealed carry, as I've called it. I still believe this gun offers you guys so much in return. There's just a lot of good things with this gun for sure. What about cons? The first con I'm going to give the 26 is the finish. I'm sure some of you guys have noticed this up until this point already. Scratching in the finish, the discoloration in the finish on these new Glocks, man, I am not impressed whatsoever. It looks horrible, horrible. One of the cons as well for me, even though the magazine button release works well, it's still not as responsive as I would like. On the Sheild, clear winner for the magazine button release, and getting that magazine button, or getting those magazines out of there, it's so easy to do. So I definitely prefer it on the Sheild. It's bigger and it's easier to get to, still not as responsive, especially with the polymer on polymer. It just creates a drag there. So that's not one of my favorite things with this gun. Big con on the Glocks as well, at least for me, is the need to change the sights out automatically. It's an extra cost on top of, you know, a $550 base gun. With regular Glock sights, I know I could, you know, shoot 1,000,000 rounds and learn how to shoot them well, but I just hate those sights. I really do. And I know a lot of people shoot them well, but that extra cost for me, it seems like when I buy a Glock, I upgrade the sights automatically. To me, it's just a con. I feel that they could definitely come out with, you know, an upgraded set of sights, you know, to meet the rest of the standards that everybody else is doing. But as far as that, there's really not a lot of cons with this gun. It meets a very specific role, and it meets it well. It does a lot of things really well. And to me, I really love this gun and what they've done with it. On the Sheild, it's a stiff little gun. So like I said, you know, if you're one that you like to drop the slide with your slide release, on this gun it's gotten much easier. But on quite a few of them, man, or at least when we first got this gun, man, you couldn't drop it with the slide release. It's very tough. It's a very stiff little gun. The trigger on it, I wish they would just get away from the hinge design. I don't like it. I don't care for that at all. To me, it just leads to, you know, inaccuracies when it doesn't have to. You know, they could go to a standard trigger design and still keep their own, you know, little style on it. Just not a fan of that split hinge design. Although it does a fine job, it could be much, much, much better in my opinion. Grip texture on this gun, not a fan of that either. I like what they've done with the new 45 Sheild, but not a fan of it on this one. Other than that, that's really all I got. The stock sights work great. You don't have to sink any extra money into this gun to run it, at least for us. So A lot of great things with this one as well. So we've reached this point to the end of the video. Which one I like better for concealed carry? To me, the 26 offers you more in return for concealed carry. Mrs. Headshot has carried a little bit, not much, and it seems to be a universal standard, even compared to the single stack. Now, if comfort is your main priority and you have to go with the Sheild or a 26, I would go with the Sheild. This is going to be a more comfortable gun, in my opinion, because of the weight and the thinness and the grip. I think this is more comfortable of a gun, but I think the Glock, for a few more ounces in weight and for a little bit thicker gun, will offer you more with the interchangeability and everything else we just talked about. I also think it's a better shooter out of the box. Once you upgrade the sights, I think it is a better shooter than the Sheild. Mrs. Headshot, if you're wondering her opinion, she's going to go with the Sheild. She loves this gun. She's very comfortable with it, but she also likes the 26 and its smaller size and just the way they did, you know, with this gun and sized it and everything. She's a fan of it, but she still likes the Sheild better. She's very comfortable with this. So it's hard to to get her away from that, and understandably. Either one of them is going to be a great option. It's just going to depend on what you're looking more for. Comfortable and you know, concealable and all this kind of stuff. Thinner, Shield's going to be your ticket, but if you can handle a little bit more weight, I think the 26 is the way to go. All right, so there we go. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. We will see you in the next one, and as always, hold them down.